Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Derek Ledwich from Strive Fitness Performance. Today's video is about planning your year. Um, we just did this in amongst all of our personal nutrition clients, both online and in person here at Strive. And we try to do this pretty much every single year about how to plan out the year. And the main reason why we want to do this is simply because so many people in January are going to be starting a 6 to 8 week challenge. And full disclosure, we do those here at Strive. But people are going to go into that mindset right away if they don't do it then because they're worried about joining anything because of the shutdown and stuff like that. Then more than likely in February they're going to end up joining. And the reason why those are bad, I'm not really going to get into most of them because some of them are good just because it helps with motivation. But the whole mindset behind that all in, all out mentality, the very black and white, is what causes people to constantly join challenges or constantly join different programs to get weight loss. And that is one piece of the puzzle. And instead, it's usually because there's no vision of what's actually going on. And so either A, they don't fix anything. You guys don't get consistent results because it doesn't fit around your life, or you get results and then all of a sudden you don't know what to do after that. That's why it's one piece of the puzzle. And so what will help out is planning your actual year. And as we sort of go through this process, again, it's exactly what we do for all of our one-on-one nutrition clients. So it does get really, really specific. Obviously, we're not going specific here because it is very individual. But this is a good rough idea, rough guide that I'm going to take you through exactly what we did this past Sunday. All right. So get a piece of paper out, get a pen, be ready to roll through. Obviously, we would end up taking a little bit more time than what I'm going to do, but I'm going to give you a little bit of guidelines, just like any of the other videos. If you have questions whatsoever, or as you're going through this later on, even if it's a month later, and you have questions about you yourself, feel free to comment in or message me, and I can sort of answer any of the questions that you might have. All right. So what am I going to do is I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. And so planning out your year. As I mentioned, I'm going to go through a little bit here, and I'm going to go through the process of how to make it individualized. Okay, so planning out your year. And I say planning out your year because we are just about to start a brand new year, 2021. But to be honest, most of this stuff is going to happen anytime your goals change. And it'll make a little bit more sense as I go through this first little part here. Okay, so we are planning out the year and then just backtracking. But to be honest, anytime you plan out a goal, whether it is fat loss, try to get lean, gain weight, gain muscle, performance, whatever it is, you still do all of these different steps. The reason why you want to do that is because it creates a structured plan instead of just doing random shit. Most time people will just do a 6 to 8 week challenge and then that's it. They're gonna get their goals, and that's not true, because we're very good at getting goals. Okay, we are terrible at maintaining the goals. It'd be the same thing as in school. Getting an A is easy. Maintaining an A average over the course of your schooling is harder, because you always have to put in that work, but you always have to put in a different structure around it. It's the same thing with weight loss, but people do not think of it that way. They just have the one segment on it, which would be what I'm going to explain this season. They have that part of it. They don't have all the other stuff. Okay. So first little bit I'm going to talk about is nutrition periodization. All right. If you are in the workout world, more than likely you've heard of periodization with training. You always progress. You always have different plans. You're never always working on anything. This is very similar to like a season for sports. It's based into 4 different seasons. All right. No sport, you don't play all year round. If you're playing football, The goal of preseason is going to be very different than season. The goal of season is going to be different than the postseason. The goal of postseason is going to be different than the off season. Doesn't mean you don't have any goals and you just sort of say whatever until you want to play the season again. But each little one has a different goal, right? And we want to think of our nutrition and getting our goals. Specifically, I'm going to be talking about weight loss here. It's going to be that same mindset. Most people do not have that. Most people have this season. Most people have diet season. You know, when they're all in on their goals, when they're all in going towards their goals, they have this, right? If they get success. Okay? A lot of people start here and they have that, but they're not really in it. So now all of a sudden their preseason's crap. All right. And so what this is all about is, again, preseason, season, postseason, and off season. All right. You know, likewise, I'm going to give another example of the sports, and then I'll talk about sort of what a typical one would be for your nutrition. Preseason, you know, they're getting into it. You know, they're, you know, for football, they're starting to have pads a little bit. They're not going all in. They're, you know, wide receivers and quarterbacks are going through their routes, you know, stuff like that. You're learning the playbook. You know, you're not really going all in yet. And as you get closer to the season, you know, the starters are playing more, you know, now it's more reps, you know, stuff like that. And all of a sudden this season, they're all in on their goals. What is their goal? To win. And so now they did all that pre-work during the preseason. Now they're all into it. All right. The season is basically anytime you're all in on your goals. Doesn't matter what the goals are. It could be fat loss. It could be muscle gaining. It could be performance. Whatever your time is that you're all in on your specific goal. So if your goal is to get lean, now it's a time to, you know what? I'm all in. I'm paying attention to everything and I'm ready to roll. Okay. And that's your season. All right. You're 100% dialed in. Postseason would be, okay, I'm playing less. I'm not going, you know, I'm recovering if I'm a football player from a grueling season. Same thing as dieting season. Okay. I'm recovering from a grueling diet. Okay. Dieting sucks. It's hard on your body. Okay. You feel like crap afterwards. And all you want to do is say, screw it afterwards. Okay. So we want to make sure that we're easing into that so we can maintain. Off season, they're trying to become better. You know, their off season is, you know what, maybe I'm getting stronger. Okay. Maybe I'm doing a little bit more ability. Maybe I got injured like crazy last year. Now my off season is a little bit longer and I'm going towards that. Okay. I'm trying to get a little bit better so I don't get injured next year. And then they just repeat the process. Okay. For nutrition, and again, this is very, very individualized, whatever your goal is, but it's the same process. Okay. Maybe my goal is fat loss, which is what most people that are going to be watching this, that is what it is for. Okay. So preseason, and most people skip this. They go right into, you know what, I'm going to go all in, and they burn out within 3 weeks and they stop. So they didn't do the actual preseason. Okay. Preseason would be getting your mind right. Okay. I'm going to go through the whole process of a preseason down here. Okay. But you're getting your mind right. What is actually going on during your season? Okay, what do you have to accomplish? Maybe you have to track macros every single time, because the moment you don't, you're screwed. Okay, maybe macros is not for you and you have to find a different path. Okay, maybe you are an emotional eater. Okay, that you sort of have to take advantage of. Okay, maybe I fix on that in the off season, but I have to pay attention to that. Maybe I have to work out. Maybe I can't work out. I'm just going to worry about my steps. All of these things, you know, you pay attention to in preseason, because that's how you fit it around your lifestyle. And then you have a better season. All right. And then season, you go into it, you realize, okay, you know what? And during the preseason, you might be losing a little bit of weight. During my photo shoot prep, my preseason basically lasted for about 4 weeks. You know, I was going back and forth with the consistency. I had to realize what I had to do. You know, I'm taking a lot of imperfect action. And then by the time the season rolls in, I'm on point. Okay, so now it's just like clockwork and I'm rolling. I'm 100% into my goals. I know everything that fits into my schedule. I'm rolling. Okay, and that's what that season is. That's a successful diet season. Most people think their season is their preseason, the first like couple weeks, and they think that they're all in and they're not actually not. Okay, so season is when you're actually consistent. Postseason, again, most people skip this. This is where people fall off with the 6 to 8 week challenge. They get all in, and then afterwards they just eat whatever the hell they want. They think that they achieved their goal, so they don't have to do it anymore. Right? Postseason is, you know what? I'm going to ease off a little bit. I'm still using all the knowledge that I did. If you're one of my clients, more than likely you're going to go through a reverse diet during this time so we can maintain at higher calories. That's another video for another time. But basically, we're easing off to it. We're not just going into the screw it phase. Off season. All right. Now, maybe, you know what? I want to work on my performance. Okay. Maybe I want to maintain my weight, but I don't want to track anymore. Okay. So now maybe I'm just going portions. Maybe I'm just getting my steps. Maybe I'm doing all this other stuff. I don't really want to work anything. I don't really want to focus. So it's my off season. Okay. A lot of my clients really work on performance. Okay. They lift a bunch of weight during this time because more than likely they're going to be eating more weight. Or eating more calories. During the off season, you're probably going to be gaining a little bit of weight because you're just eating more. Okay, it's naturally what's going to end up happening. Right, and then basically, maybe it's, if I'm an emotional eater, maybe I take some time during this time. I'm not really going for my weight loss goal, but maybe I'm getting a handle on my emotional eating. I'm becoming better. And that's the off season. And then you just repeat the process. How long these go, completely up to you. All right. And that's pretty much what we want to do for the year. All right. And long explanation, but it's entirely missed by most people. So how do we plan out the year and make this a little bit more individual? Okay. Well, first we have to create some vision. What is our lifestyle? What is unique to us? Okay, once you have that, then you can work everything around that. And we're not really going to dive into creating a dietary protocol here because that is beyond individual. Okay, but this is a good thing to sort of get a little handle on what's going on. Okay, and we're going to always come back to this stuff up here. So vision. What obstacles are in your way this year? Okay, and we're not talking about small little things of day to day, but what big things are going to be later on? All right. A great way of doing a great example of this is, I have holidays. Sometimes that's a big obstacle for people. Okay. Doing a season during that time, trying to go for weight loss is probably not a good idea. Okay. Because the cards are against you. Some people have it during summer because of alcohol. Okay? Alcohol is a big obstacle for people. For some people. So now all of a sudden the summer might not, even though it's a long time. Okay. I mean, 3 months, all that stuff, but in a seasons, it's generally longer than like a holiday or something like that. But that's a big obstacle. Could you lose weight during that time? Absolutely. Would it be harder? Yes. All right. Maybe you have to, okay, but later down the line, but that's a big obstacle in your way. Okay. For me, it's always volleyball season. All right. Generally that April, March, to about mid-May is big time for travel volleyball. Okay. And so I'm generally gone a lot of the weekends on 3-day weekends. So trying to do a really consistent game plan to try and create some weight loss or fat loss or like a photo shoot prep like I did, it would be insanely hard. Okay. Because that's 3 out of the 7 that more than likely it's going to be really hard to get workouts in. And it's going to be really hard to get nutrition in because I'm at the convention center the entire day. And all it is shit food. All right. So it's a massive obstacle that I have to sort of recognize that that's going to come up. All right. So that's how you make that individual. What are some obstacles that are going to happen? For those of you that watch the holiday survival guide, we did the same exact thing for the month of December. What obstacles are there? And then you work around it. But you have to figure out that first. All right. Next, I'm going to break down my quarters. When will your season be? Okay. When will your off season be? All right. So after we figure out those obstacles, we're going to break down all the different quarters of the year. When can you throw in a 12-week season? And you have to be honest with us. Even if you might want it 100%. I've had a couple of clients that they wanted to lose weight during the summer, but that wasn't in the cards. And they were just, going back and forth. So we had to learn, create a different goal than just the weight loss. All right. So break down the quarters. When will your season be? And again, a diet season straight up is usually around like 12 weeks, maybe a little bit longer. Okay? It's not an entire year. You don't go through that the entire year and actually get success. All right. You lose weight, maintain, back and forth. So it's a process. But when will your season be? Some people, they go camping, during the fall. That's not a good time for weight loss. It's a good time for maintenance. Okay, because there's a lot of stuff going on. And again, could you do it? Absolutely. Okay, but when is optimum for you? When is going to be your off season? And likewise, so you go through all of that. Maybe your off season is the entire year. Okay, that could easily be that. Okay, and your seasons become really, really small in between them. That could be something as well. All right. So you want to break down all of that. Where are you at? All right. So that's the vision of the year. Now we create the vision for our season. And normally we didn't do this too much, but we're going to do that right now just so you have a good idea of what to do. So for the season, all right, now we're in our preseason phase. All right. What do you do well? We're going to do that same exact process of figuring out our obstacles, figuring out our go-to, stuff like that. Okay. So preseason, what do you do well? For me, I know what I'm doing. I do this for a living, so I know exactly what to do. It's about doing it. Okay. So that's a strength for me. Some people don't know. Some people don't know what a good portion is. They don't know what a good portion of protein is. They don't have a lot of go-to meals. They just don't know. Another one for me, I track. Okay. I don't like tracking, but I know how to. I know how to weigh. All right. So I do that really, really well. I also work out. It used to be a weakness because I didn't have time because of my business, but I work out pretty well. Okay. I know how to do it. My steps are really high because I am constantly moving because I'm training classes. The moment I stop training classes, that will be a weakness because my steps are going to be really low. All right. What do you struggle with is the next one. Okay. So you figure out all this plan. A struggle with could be anything. Maybe it's alcohol. Maybe it's weekends. Maybe it's what probably about 9% of parents, especially mothers, have, and it's dinner because they have to cook all the meals for their family for dinner. I mean, maybe that's a struggle. Right? Instead of going past it and trying to go through everything, you work around it. Okay, but figure out what you struggle with. Maybe it's emotional eating. Maybe it's I always fall off plan Wednesday. That's another one that's pretty common. They're good up until Wednesday, and all of a sudden it becomes a shit show. What do you constantly struggle with? The reason why we want to do these first is more than likely every time you've tried to lose weight or tried to get your goals, these two things sort of come up, especially the struggles. They're pretty common amongst you. Just like, maybe the one struggle is negative body language or negative body image. Maybe it's the all or nothing mindset. So the moment you start struggling, you fail and you stop. Okay? Maybe you're just straight up never consistent. Right? That's an issue too. So what do you struggle with? More than likely, it's probably pretty common amongst all the times you've actually tried. All right. So figure out those instead of just being blind and just trying to depend on willpower to go through everything. What's actually there? All right. And that's really how we create this vision. As you see, we're creating the vision for big to small. All right. But we're still doing the same thing. Okay. So now we break down everything into our general ones. All right. So now the next step is to create those core principles. And again, we're creating our season right now, pretty much. All right. And again, this could be anything. Right now, we're going for fat loss. Okay. Our core principles. What actions are you going to hold yourself true? All right. What things are you going to, no matter what, do? What do you have to do? For a photo shoot, I had to do really, really specific stuff. Okay. I had to do those things or else I wasn't going to get my goal. Maybe yours is a little bit different. All right. Maybe it's tracking macros. Okay. Full on. I'm using my FitnessPal. I'm logging. I'm doing everything. Maybe it's too stressful and I'm just using portions. Maybe it's I want a little bit more and I'm going, I'm doing calories and protein. Maybe I'm going really easy and I'm just, I'm just going to pay attention to my snacking. And I'm going to keep that on check. Okay. That would be like an off-season one. right? Is snacking's a big issue. My core principle right now is just that. During winter or during the holidays, it might be really, really easy. What are the core principles that you're going to live by during this time? These can constantly change depending on the season that you're on. You have to keep that in mind too. All right. So what actions are you going to hold yourself true? Okay. That no matter what, you need to follow those. Right now, I know a lot of clients that, they're just getting their steps, 8,000. Right? Get their steps to 8,000, train 2 days a week, and make sure you're on point with your snacking and your alcohol choices. That's all they're paying attention to. Everything else is fine. That's the only thing that they're focusing on. They do that, they're knocking out of the park because they're not in season. They're in their off season right now. So what core principles are you going to look at? Okay. And then the last one, take imperfect action. All right. And as you do that, you're getting 1% better toward your goals. And as you're doing these, going through these seasons, are your actions leading you to your goals? Okay? And that's where this comes up. This nutritional periodization. Okay, a lot of people, they want to be here and they want to get their diet season, but they don't act, but their actions are actually here. Okay, the preseason, you're never on point 100%. You're very much going here. All right, but that doesn't get you great results. Is the preseason that gets you towards your season? And so many people are failures here. All right, because their actions, even though their goal is to losing weight or getting lean or anything like that, but their actions are not actually going towards their goals. They have to sort of look themselves in the mirror and realize that they're actually not where they want to be. And that's fine. Maybe it's not time for a diet season. If it's super hard because you can't be consistent, then you're not in season. That's the whole trying to lose weight during the summer when alcohol is a big part of your life. It's just super hard. Okay. You either get consistent and you work around that, or you just switch up your goals. That's completely fine. My one client ended up doing that exactly this past year. All right. She ended up working on, just anytime you drink, get right back on the train of getting consistent the next day instead of spending 5 days off track, which is what she did before. So now she's becoming better because alcohol will always be a part of her life. Okay. And so now when she's in season, alcohol will probably still be there. So now instead of being off 5 days, now she's only off 1. All right, that's a huge, huge step towards progress. All right, so that is how we end up creating everything. Okay, these two are pretty consistent. They go back and forth, but that's how we create our protocol, our individual protocol. Obviously, the core principles right here can be so many different things. Okay, it's very, very, very individualized. I cannot stress that enough. All right, but this is how we break down our year and then our season. All right, and then how do we create actual consistency? All right, and again, a lot of this, it really depends on how long we're going, what our goals are. Another one with the actions is maybe I want to get tone, but all I do is cardio and I'm eating 1,200 calories and I don't do any type of weight training. You're never going to get tone. That it's not going to end up happening. Okay. And so you need to do something else. It's another video for another day. All right. One last thing. And I'm going to give you an example of one of my clients, and more than likely, she's probably actually watching this video right now. She's an accountant. And so we broke down her year pretty much this past year, and pretty much her off season is the end and the beginning of quarters. All right. Basically a nice, nice like 2 to 4 week span is her off season. So she goes back, and that's not including all the different things that might come up during their time frame. All right. But we broke down when we knew 100% when her off season was going to be, when her maintenance time was going to be. And that was those segments of the year. So every time we come up there, we know exactly what we're going to do. We're taking a break regardless of where we're at. You know what? We're taking a break right here because stress is an all-time high. All we're working on is recovery. And then we broke down the rest of the year, and she's pretty consistent. She loves numbers, so her principles are very, very, hey, these are the calories. I want you to log here. I want you to input here. And that's how we do it. All right. And then we go into a diet. We lose a little bit of weight. Maybe some other things happen. Maybe the one quarter there was no season, okay, because times were hard, and okay, that's fine. Okay, and we go into another off season, and then we try to do it again. We go back and forth, and now all of a sudden we see consistent weight loss over the year. Nothing too crazy of weight loss, okay, but now all of a sudden we have control. That's the whole point over all of this stuff, is you gain control over your nutrition instead of depending on something else. Okay. It sounds insanely complicated, right? A lot of the times, but this is how you create something instead of going from 6 to 8 week challenge to 6 to 8 week challenge, then gaining it all back and then doing it again all next year. All right. So that is what we want to avoid. And that is how you plan the year. Again, longer video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions whatsoever, again, post in here, message me, post in here as you watch that, and we can easily get you guys rolling with any of the questions. That's how you basically break down your year, as well as your different seasons. Okay, that vision, core principles, everything, every single season, that's how you break that down. And we'll go over that more and more as this new year starts going on. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, post any type of questions, anything like that. I will talk to you guys soon.